I've been playing through Cult of the Lamb. If you've not played that game yet, I highly, highly recommend you do so. So, Cult of the Lamb is. How do I describe this game? It is. It is. Fuck, how do you describe it? Combine a roguelike, like Hades, for example, with Stardew Valley. Like it sounds fucking stupid when I say it like that, but I think that's the best way you can describe it. So you are the lamb. That's literally just your name. You are the lamb, and you are brought back to life by the one who waits, basically the devil. And the devil's like, "Hey, go start a cult. Go kill the other people and like make people join your cult." And you're just a cute little lamb, which is like I think the best part of this game is just the style it has. Like, oh, you're a cute little lamb, and you go murder everyone. Um, so basically, you start this cult, and you go through the dungeons, picking up new slaves, cult members, we'll call them. And the thing is, I thought this was mainly going to be a roguelike game with the a little bit of the cult management. No, 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 no. It's the other way round. It is almost primarily the like cult management stuff, and you only go into the dungeon for the sake of getting new resources. Like, hey, you need some food. Hey, you need some new slaves. Hey, you need all of this stuff. But most of it is just running around dealing with the bullshit of your cult. And the fun part about the cult management side is it straight up just gives no shits about what's going on. Pun intended. Because so one of the fun things you can do is you'll have your farm around the place and you need some fertilizer. So what do you use for fertilizer? Well, you use your cult members' shit. You just pick up their shit and sprinkle it on the crops. And you can build an outhouse later and then harvest the shit from the outhouse and put it straight onto the crops. But not only can you use their shit to deal with the crops, you could also use their shit and feed it to them. You can make a bowl of poop and just give it to someone. It does give them like a 75% chance of getting ill, but you can do it. And if you're like desperate for food, you might have to do it. So there's just stupid things like that, or other fun things. Like you also get these like quests from your cult members as well. So they'll sometimes want to like play tricks on each other, or they'll ask you to go save someone, or things like that. So a common thing that one of my people were doing, I think his name was Snow. Yeah, Snow was like, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny if we made Louis eat a bowl of poop?" So sometimes they don't even ask. So sometimes they'll ask to eat shit themselves. Like they were like, "Hey, I would like to eat poop." Like, why? Like, okay, sure, I'll give you the poop. But sometimes they want to play tricks on each other. But let's say someone gets ill or they get elderly. The funny thing about the elderly system, so eventually they'll get like too old to be able to work. But when they're elderly, they're only like 50. Like they are like unable to do any sort of work when they're 50 years old. It's like, mate, stop being fucking lazy and get to work. 50 is not too old for you. Just get out there and start digging some holes. So when they get too old, you have a couple of options for what you can do. So you can do these things called doctrines. Doctrines are basically the buffs you get for certain things you do in your cult. So if you go down or you can go down all the trees, but down the afterlife tree, there are some things about how you can deal with the elderly. So whether you want to go and let the elderly die of peaceful causes, or whether you want to sacrifice them to the devil or murder them. Either's a good option. You can do whatever you want. Um, so if you choose like one or the other, it'll give you like a buff to your faith if you let the action happen. So if you let someone die of old age and they just die in the middle of the street, everyone's like, "Wow, he died. That's so great." But if you go down the sacrifice route, and it's like, "Hey, when you sacrifice the elderly, your cult gets more faith." It's like, "Wow, we killed somebody. Yay, we're such good people." It's so like if you just like think of what's happening in the game, ignore the cute aesthetic. It's a fucked game. Like the what's happening is absolutely insane. So you start going around doing that stuff. And then if someone dies in the street, you have a couple of options to deal with them. You can either bury them, which costs you like have to go and build a hole for them, which makes cost you like resources you don't have, or you can just slaughter them and turn them into meat, because sometimes your cult members will say, "Hey, I wonder what a person tastes like," and it's like, okay, well we can arrange that. And just like, okay, sure, why not? As I said, this game is kind of fucked, but it's fun. If you have not played Cult of the Lamb, I highly recommend it. Even if for nothing else, besides the soundtrack. I'm gonna bring up a bit of this soundtrack. I know it's fine to play because I played it on stream, and I didn't get a copyright claim. Let's play this one. This is Starter Cult. The intro is chill, but when it gets past the intro, that's when it gets really good. I think just this is a nice bop. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. How could you not enjoy this song? Like the entire soundtrack is this same sort of like chill, nice, funky style. I love it. It's such a great game with such a great soundtrack.